It's that time again, the time where I go over all the anime that I watched from the previous anime season that I watched to completion, watched 5 minutes to 1 episode of, or just wasted any time on it, and give you my final thoughts on them. This is the quick review and recap show that I do every single season, and boy was this a season. One of the most enjoyable anime seasons I think many anime fans will have been a part of, with the fan favorites returning and new hidden masterpieces. So, let us begin. This season of Attack on Titan was a real treat. As someone who has been reading the manga for years, seeing some of my favorite content finally adapted with the superb voice acting and animation to back it was a real treat. Even some of the naysayers of season 1 seem to love this season, as this is where everything starts falling into place and you see how much more complex of a series it really is. Things that were foreshadowed in season 1 are revealed and it only gets better from here. I loved every single minute of this season, and it gets my ultimate seal of approval. Shonen series are notorious for doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. But My Hero Academia said, nah, fuck that, and took the tournament arc and revived the style of storytelling, and it did it in one of the best ways that I've ever seen. Season 1 was fun and all, but nothing too special to me. It was just the intro content. But season 2 so far has given multiple characters time to shine, feel important, and give you a sense of disbelief as you watch every single week. From the action to the personal stories, this is what we needed in a show such as this one, and I'm so glad that it will be carrying over into the summer season. Seal of ultimate approval. Bastard Magic Instructor is something I loved from the first episode. I've seen my fair share of Magic High School harem series, and they mostly are the same thing. But in the case of this show, it is self-aware, it parodies other aspects of different anime and genres, or just generally tells multiple stories that are intriguing with a fantastic male lead. He is scum, he is a bastard, he is both overpowered and underpowered all in one. And because they adapted so many light novels, they told far more story than most series would in a 12-episode series. And I thought it was paced fairly well. I really enjoyed my time with this series. It gets my seal of approval. I dropped this series around episode 4. It was fine, in fact I thought it was less cringy than season 1. That's not saying much as they both are pretty cringy. But at the core, this series just isn't for me. Too much fan service, too many shallow characters, and just the world may be interesting, but between everything I've seen from this to the main series, I'm just done. It just never lived up to my expectations of what I thought the series could become. Seal of disapproval. The phrase anime was a mistake is a mistranslation taken from an interview with anime legend Miyazaki. But mistranslation or not, it's probably true. I don't even know what to say about the series. I mean, it's trash, anime fans are trash, anime was a mistake. This is an anime that felt pretty good by the end, but it took a while to go somewhere. Many seem to like the early episodes for its spice and wolf vibes. I could care less about them myself. So many episodes felt disjointed and the pacing and character development was so off for multiple episodes, I question if this was wrote by a new light novel author that was still in high school. Luckily though, the second half feels much better with both structure in the character and world building. It's not amazing, it didn't wow me, but it was a decently fun time overall. Seal of questionable approval. What I love about Recreators is how it asks the same questions that I myself have as a viewer. The series is what if Fate Zero brought anime characters to life, and it is up to them and their creators to figure out why they were brought here and to save the world before one of the other creations destroys it. So many times I'd ask myself, I wondered, what would happen if the character was brought in from the anime and not the light novel? Would it be the same character? Or what if you revised the character's writing in the story? Would the character that was brought into this world change? And they always answered these questions. The character writing is on point and I'm dying to see how it will end in the second core. Seal of approval. Self-aware and parody comedy series is some of the funniest content to me, and this is what Love Tyrant is in a nutshell. What started off as a Death Note parody that instead of killing those whose names are wrote in the Death Note, instead people kiss and the angel who delivers this results is, well, let's just say, a boy love lover. It's a harem, all the characters end up loving the main guy, but the character dynamics with some getting stabbed in the head nearly every single episode to just weird-ass penguins who are, well, a little bit rapey, it cracked me up and I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. Seal of approval. I thought this would be my anime of the season. As someone who loves Anohana, I just felt a similar vibe coming from the series. Though it never reached the same level, I really enjoyed this bittersweet story, and I really don't want to give anything away. Give this a go. There's a few instances of cringeworthy fan service, but it's only a couple of times, with the rest of the series being well thought out and just overall beautiful. It gets my seal of approval. It's a real shame that not many carried on with this series, but every season there is one show that I consider to be amazing that generally everyone hates. This is that series from spring. Yes, the character dialogue can be a little dry, the presentation is a little basic, but goddamn if it it isn't well planned out and executed. The first core was phenomenal, with how every resident in this town all have some sort of an ability, and a few of the characters use their abilities to solve issues within this town. The main character can remember anything, and the secondary female lead has the ability to rewind time 3 days back, but only the main character can remember. This is how the two work together, and it's fantastic. I promise you, if you stick with this series around episode 10, you will see what it was building up to, and we still have a second core. Ultimate seal of approval. Come at me, haters, I fucking love it. Anime fans have been spoiled by one-dimensional Disney villains who are cut and paste I do bad things for bad reason, so when Virgin Soul started and in fact wrote a king who is not some 100% noble or evil king, they claimed he was the worst character who deserved to die and we should root for the pretty boy demon who, spoilers, did very similar things if not worse things to humans back in season 1, but hey, who needs logic? Luckily, those following my channel seem to see past this clouded vision and embrace one of the best written anime characters I have seen in a very long time, King Charius, with his deep and complex persona that feels like he could have easily been a king pulled from a history book with all the charm and then some with season 1. This is amazing and should be watched by all, but I do recommend giving season 1 a watch first. Ultimate seal of approval. This is pretty much what I wanted Tales of Zestiria to be. This isn't a complex or deep series, but one just trying to be a pretty looking and fun adventure series, and it does it pretty well. It's not overly convoluted and just wants to be a fun binge overall. Nothing amazing, nothing horrible, but just fun. And that's all I wanted out of it, so seal of approval, and I think it knew exactly what it wanted to be, and I think it's why it succeeded. This is one of the most interesting series from this season. This 12 episode series feels like 24 episodes, and that's not a bad thing. The first 6 episodes are a different anime than that of episodes 7 through 12. Without giving too much away, the first 6 episodes deal with a runaway girl with magical powers trying to escape an evil facility, with the second half being a more slice of life adventure, and it manages to pull it off near flawlessly. You get a sense of, oh, you get a happily ever after story with episode 6, but then we get another 6 episodes to show you what happens after the credits. I really enjoyed this series, and the old man was one of the stars of the season. Seal of approval. Kato is what anime needed. This is top 3 of the season for me. It's a masterpiece. Plenty of movies and TV series have managed to tell a good alien story, anime not so much. Kato asks what would happen if a species more advanced than us landed on Earth and offers us more knowledge and more power than we could ever handle. We would be in the year 10,000 if we accepted these free gifts. Could humanity deal with these changes, or are we too greedy and selfish to care about the we and only care about the I? My favorite scene in the past season lies within this series. Without giving it away, for those who watched it, it's when certain characters are forced to hand over something around the halfway point, and how they overcome it, that blew me the hell away. Toei anime originals tend to be damn good, and this is no exception. Go watch this gem, you won't regret it. It should come at no surprise, but ultimate seal of approval. PA Works is one of my favorite anime studios. They produce highly polished and interesting series more times than not, but sadly this hasn't been living up to my expectations. Now don't get me wrong, it's not a bad series, I quite enjoy it, but as someone who has seen most of what they have produced, it's pretty weak in comparison. I'm hoping the second core takes it in a more intriguing direction, but only time will tell. If you're looking for a good workplace anime, try Blossoms for Tomorrow or Shirobako, and if you've already seen those, then maybe give this a shot, but it shouldn't ever be top priority. Seal of questionable approval. IDO isn't really a bad or great show, but just kinda there. The general idea is kind of interesting. It's a space exploration anime that people use mechs to do their space work. Through a series of events, the main female is stranded with a group of pirates that then say, hey girl, we won't deliver you for free, but work off your debt and we will get you to your people. More or less. It's interesting as a story hook, but the designs of the character models just made me not want to watch too much of the series. I think for many this might be why it was an underwatched show, as it doesn't look ugly, but it's far from great. It lacks a sense of personality in the designs, which hurts the idea that it was going for. But that's just me. I didn't really love or hate what I watched, but it may be a show for you if you give it a chance. I mean, space pirates are cool, right? Seal of questionable approval. The second core has finally concluded this show, and what a ride it was. For a while, the second half dragged and lost some of the charm it had in the first core, but the final 6 episodes blew the first half out of the water. Trigger outdid themselves with this series, and though I won't claim this to be a masterpiece, it is still one of the best Magic School series I think you can watch. If for whatever reason you never gave the TV edition for Little Witch Academia a shot, then do it. I promise you won't be disappointed, and if you are, you may be Satan. Seal of approval. I honestly think that we should fear the Chinese. With one single series, they managed to blow every single video game anime out of the water. This Chinese knockoff did it better than Japan ever could. They will overtake Japan, mark my words. But seriously, go watch this. King's Avatar is the anime I've wanted for so long. Following a forced retiree of pro gaming due to a bunch of scumbags forcing him into retirement, the man starts from scratch at the game that he has been playing for over 10 years. And you watch him dealing with overcoming not being the top dog in the eyes of the public anymore, to a newbie who seems to have the skills of a pro player in the eyes of the new players in this game. What makes the series so good is even when we aren't focusing on the action within the game, the real world content is just as interesting. It's not a transport to a video game show. No, they play a computer game, but the anime directs the game to feel like we are in the world without going the SAO route of die in the game, die in real life bullshit. It's great, and I could use 10 seasons of this, and it gets my ultimate seal of approval. And thus wraps up another season of Roundup. I really loved this season with so many series I honestly consider to be amazing. I think there was a show for pretty much everyone, and summer seems to be interesting as well. Let me know some of your favorites down in the comment section below, and before I leave, please be sure to like the video to show your support, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. And if you like what you see here and you want to go the extra mile, then head on over to my Patreon, and if any perk seems appealing to you, then maybe also consider donating as well. So until next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.